Is everyone fleeing New York? Well, I hate to break it to you, but no, they're not. In fact, all the numbers since October 1st show that the market is vibrant. Our luxury market, which accounts for properties over $4 million in Manhattan, and then if you get into ultra luxury, we're talking 10 million plus. Those markets are doing better than they did in 2024 and 2023. Basically, October 1st through about the second week of December, 4 to 10 was doing really well, 10 to 15 was a bit slow, and then 15 to 20 was good, 15 to 40 was good, and then 40 plus was a bit slow. We had very strong weeks of 30, 33, 38 contracts a week, which for a fall market, that's actually quite significant because you're looking usually for about 26 to 30 contracts a week. February, March of 24, we were seeing 44 contracts a week, 48 contracts a week. When you drive up to 44 contracts, that's super high. And we saw that for about 4 or 5 weeks in the early part of the spring last year, and then it picked up again for about 3 weeks in May. How's the luxury market in Manhattan doing for January of 2026? It was interesting because there was a moment of 3 weeks from about the middle of December through about the 10th of January where contract activity dried up. And that was kind of a little alarming because when you looked at the year before, contracts were at 25 contracts versus 13 in some weeks in December. But again, it was important to remember that in 24, you had pent-up demand for the second half of that year. So as soon as the election was decided, people started making life decisions at that point and they stopped holding off. So you had this surge of contract activity coming into the market in November, December, and January that actually gave us a bump of contracts that you wouldn't normally see at that time of the year. To compare December 25 versus 24, apples to oranges, and also the first half of January. I just took a look at January 2026, and I've compared the full month versus the full month of 2025. Contracts are up. So we are 22% higher volume of contracts in 2026 than we were in 2025 for January for 4 million plus. Usually you tend to have a majority of contracts between 4 and 12 million, and then you have others above 15 million. What I'm seeing is that the 4 to 6 has remained strong. There's weeks where it's a little bit slower. The 10 million has been a little bit slower, to be honest, but what I'm seeing is a surge of activity between 7 million and 10 million. And that is a mix of new developments, co-ops, as well as condos. What to watch for 2026? There's been a surge of new contracts from the 1122 Madison on the Upper East Side. There's been the Flatiron Building has delivered 2 or 3 contracts this month. It's interesting to see, like when I break it down on a neighborhood by neighborhood basis, we're talking probably about 55% of January's contracts were on the Upper East Side. Now I think that's high for the Upper East Side. You're looking usually more at about 30, 40%, and about the same for downtown and the same for the Upper West. The Upper West has also captured some contracts with the Henry on the Upper West Side. 50 West 66 is still selling out contracts. And so those are the developments that are attracting attention there. The big story really is that there's just not enough inventory to meet the demand. We've got demand that's coming in from around the country. People are choosing to start their careers here, or they're choosing to come back here for their mid-careers. And while all the rhetoric is that in the media headlines are saying, oh, everyone's fleeing New York, that's just simply not true. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below or send me a direct message. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. I'm Tony Sargent at Compass. Thank you so much.